Jared's daughter Ava was asked to sing the national anthem, and Jared asked to introduce her, and he totally botched it.
Yeah, my daughter Ava was asked to sing the national anthem at her high school,
Okay.
Northwest Guilford. It was like the fourth round of the girls softball team in the playoffs.
Oh, dang.
And if they won that, they'd go to to like the semifinals, which is like in like Chapel Hill or Raleigh area. Anyway. So it's like a big deal. I mean, it's nice to be asked. And my friend Sal, he's heavily involved. His daughter plays for the team, plays for the team. And he actually does the play-by-play,
Oh, okay.
like the announcing there. And so they asked if Ava would be interested. I said, let me ask her. And she said, absolutely. And then he said, do you want to introduce her? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. And so we get there.
Yep.
And Sal is doing the play-by-play. And that's the day where it's been raining. Like off and on.
Pick a day, it feels like. Yeah.
And they were going to, and at some point, they're like, are we going to cancel the game? And we got there like, we're going to start 45 minutes from now. I'm like, oh. And I had Ezra, he's my son, he's 3.5. And of course, Eli. And it's like muddy. There's puddles everywhere. And it's kind of like the sun's coming back out. So it's like that steamy, like,
oh, yeah.
nasty
sauna
type
gross
thing. But then it's like real, and it's mud everywhere. So I'm trying to keep Ezra out of the mud. And then I'm like, no, not to delay for 45 minutes because I'm trying to keep him in this one area and not running and getting filthy muddy and then having to go out with Ava to make sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I heard a guy say to Sal, said, we're not doing player intros and we're canceling the national anthem.
Oh, no.
So we can beat the rain because they're like, we're just going to start. And Sal, he didn't even know I heard him. He's like, we're not canceling the national anthem.
Yeah, well, is that going to take that much time?
I was like, the national anthem's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And the player intros is like 5. And so I said, Sal, are you going to, like, how much longer is that going to? He's like, no, I'm not doing any of that. So I don't know who the guy suggested it. He was just trying to get the game. But it's like, how un-American is that?
Yeah,
right?
very un-American.
Right?
I put him right on a terrorist watch list.
That's bad juju right there.
How dare you?
Right away. I was like,
They wouldn't even think about canceling it in Randolph County.
No, they would not. They're like, we'll cancel the game.
We'll just sing only the national anthem.
I'll be damned.
Be here for that.
I was like, really? This guy's trying to cancel the national anthem?
I don't think you can play ball without the national anthem. I don't even think you can start a game.
I think it's really bad luck.
But, yep.
You're going against Abraham Lincoln and George Washington.
The stars and the stripes.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
These colors don't run. And so anyway, they're like, all right, it's time to go out there, stand by the home plate. And Sal was like, say this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. I've been rehearsing my intro for Ava. And then I was given additional information, which we do all the time.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
But he's like, make sure you say that, da-da-da-da-da, and make sure, the flag is at center field, and make sure you remove your hats and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All right. And so I get out there, and Ezra's with me on the field, and he was totally good. I mean, he was totally fine, but you never know. And so we're on the field just kind of waiting, and then Sal does the intro and hands me the mic through the fence. And I'm like, I don't know, it's not about me. I just want to introduce me, Jared from Jared and Kenny in the Morning. And he's like, we have a special guest. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, no, but
2
fine.
seconds till everybody starts booing.
Yeah.
Who's that?
And I'm like, no. Because you never know who. Anyway, but it was nice, and people cheered or whatever. And so I'm going to intro Ava, and I'm like, all right, make sure you take off your hats and stand for the national anthem. The flag is at center field. And I'm going slow, remember. And so that part, fine. And people were standing and getting ready for the national anthem. I said, today's singer of the national anthem is a freshman at Northwest Guilford High School. She's been in, she's a theater student. She's been in such plays as Footloose and, Ava, what other plays have you been in?
Uh-oh.
She was like,
uh-oh.
Because I was thinking Mean Girls, but that's this summer. She hadn't auditioned yet. I was like,
No.
And she was like, Our Town. I was like, Our Town.
Oh, man.
What else have you been in? And then I'm like, okay, I'm not ruining it for her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. And then also she's been in, my mind could not think. Oh, Grease. Like, and no one, she didn't even ask me to do that part, but I was trying to set, like, she sings.
Gas her up.
Yeah.
Like, she's in chorus and she's in theater, and this is some of the plays she's done here at Northwest.
Would have been nice if you could remember them.
And I had it totally down. I was like, Footloose, Mean Girls, Our Town, and Into the Woods. And she goes, she's like, Into the Woods, like, Into the Woods, Riding Hood, Red. Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, Ava Pike. And I hand it to her. And because she's not me, just nails it. No problem. Just boom. She just goes, does the national anthem, is not shaking, not fumbling. And as soon as I finished the anthem, I said, there's Ava Pike. Sal goes, that was the worst intro ever. And like his little group of people were laughing. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Thank you.
And I knew it. I knew
Thank
it
you.
right away. And Ava was like,
Man.
hey, maybe next time, maybe know the plays I've been in. I'm like, uh-huh. And I go, Ava. She's like, no, I know. I said, I've been to every one of your plays. Actually help you run lines, and we do lines together and all that stuff, going over lines. I just my mind just went totally blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that in the beginning where it's like, say this, 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 and this. And
Right.
then make sure that you're like, oh,
It's
I
a
gotta
national
have-
anthem.
yeah,
You don't want to
right.
and it's a like I'm not going to make jokes.
No,
'cause
it's a
like
somber.
like serious, serious thing, and it's not about me. I'm just trying to get it to Ava as quickly as possible, and it was horrible.
So when does she start working here instead of you? Since she's cool, calm, and collected.
She's too professional to work here.
Got it. Not
That's-
immature enough.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Well, even last night she had no,
She
she's
has
not.
bigger aspirations.
Yeah, she does. She sang last night a song by Billie Eilish from Barbie. What am I made
Oh,
for?
I love that song.
They had a showcase for the final thing for her chorus class. And even in that, she was singing it. And, I'm just like, so proud of her because she's doing it in front of her school and all this stuff. And it's like the 10th thing she's done this year. But I would be nervous. I get nervous doing certain things, even introing, obviously. And her backing track just stops mid-performance.
Oh, no.
She doesn't skip a beat. She doesn't look flustered. She doesn't stop. She just, I found out after the fact, kind of adapted to it and shortened it, which you couldn't tell. She's like, I had like a minute and a half left. She said, I was actually trying not to cry because it was like her final showcase for this year, and the backing track just stopped playing.
Who was in charge of that?
Yeah. That's a little sabotage.
And they were having all sorts of technical difficulties that night. She was the first one it happened to. But she was the only one it happened to like during her song. Most of it started like it would stop before they would even start singing.
Oh.
And she just rolled with it. Like I would have been panicked or made a joke, stopped. Can we start over? But
She takes after her mother.
yeah, It's that-
Professional.
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I do think some of the acting and the stage stuff, like
Probably.
you have to. It doesn't matter if somebody fumbles something, you just keep going.
Gotta roll
Yep.
with it.
Like our show, when we mess up, we want to highlight it. And when I messed up, I almost want to stop and be like, I'm stupid. I do this for a living, but I can't even talk. But I was like, just get to it. Just get to Ava. Just get to Ava.
Yeah, because there's certain time, the time and place.
But
And, yeah.
I did apologize to Ava afterwards. So I go, I am so sorry. And she's like, it's okay. She's always like, it's okay. It's fine.
Mental note, never ask him to do that again.
I should see what she
Ever.
wrote in her journal about it.
So I will intro anything, but if it has to do with my kids, forget it. I
Forget
get
it.
too nervous. Because then I'm also nervous the whole time. Like, I just want her to do well. And that's a tricky
Of
song
course.
to sing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can mess up one little thing. I mean, you see major singers go and botch it.
People, professional singers get ridiculed on the regular for not doing it well.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, and then she did really, really well. So I'm proud of her.
Oh, good.
All right. So yeah, don't ask me to do that type of stuff anymore.
We're done.